All right, everyone, Babylon here. Uh, Today's episode is episode 33, Wet Work. We'll be going back up to the Riverlands to cover it.
This one's for
I was going to
cemetery.
do two videos, but
They want it
in one,
done
but
quick
or two
and
missions in
clean.
one. But unfortunately, there was an issue with the second one.
Wildlife's been causing
But
problems
I'll
for your
explain
people
that in the
down
next
here.
episode.
It's been making a
This
hell of a
episode is
mess
pretty
and
simple.
not leaving a lot of witnesses.
You are going to hunt down a
So they're not
creature. It's
exactly
not a.
sure what
I
kind
thought
of
it was going to
predator
be
you're
the
hunting or how
Black
many
Wolf,
there
but it
could be.
wasn't. It was a Black
But
Panther instead.
you can handle that,
But
right?
we also set up the
Sentai have
outpost
the best
in
scents in the sky,
the Riverlands,
so they'll be
so
watching
that
you.
way I can have a place there to go and rest or whatever to pass
Something's
the
been
night or
stalking
get
your
out of weather and
teams,
stuff like that, or
but no one's
fix
totally
things that need
sure
to be
what you're
fixed.
tracking. Hasn't
However, I did
exactly
learn
left a
out
lot of
later I need to get a bigger
survivors.
table there to fix guns
The most recent
or
site's marked
upgrade
on
my
your map.
workbench table
Start
to either the
there,
fabricator
see
or
if you
the
can run this one
manufactured
to the
workbench.
ground, and
But we'll get
watch
that
your
taken
back.
care of later on. But right now, the good thing is it's there. Uh, in this mission here, we're going to go up and we're going to track down a beast. You only have to track one track, and then gave me the beast. And we had to go down and prep animal bait and stuff. But most of the time I'll be traveling, but I'll do my thing there and transition it. At least I think I did anyway. I think I did. I can't remember how I edited the video now. But anyways, we had some issues going. I did take the animals up there with me, for just in case. Uh, Everything up in that part of the country is a little bit stronger, a little bit better than. You can see here, he's doing his best to fight off everything by himself, but he was taking quite a bit of damage there, if I ain't mistaken. And then they showed up, of course. The army finally showed up. You can see how much health he lost there, about a quarter of his health. But after that, I just had to go up there a little bit slower, I think, and it was just a good travel going up there with the animals, because especially when we got up to the woods, I didn't have to waste so much ammo to make a way for us to get through. I did have to wait up here at this one point for the animals to get here, and then I don't know what it is with them getting hung up from time to time. Uh, it's kind of strange how they move through the map, but do you think they'll have like can only get so close to something, or to actually forces it to walk around it automatically? But sometimes they get hung up, and it is what it is. I mean, we'll be getting to move on here in a minute, but we'll fast travel up there to the first location anyway, and you'll see here uh, that you get into that area and you have to walk around it and see if you can find the track. But what was weird, I was in the circle and nothing was said until I went back around and got up on top of that, what you just saw there, and then it activated it again, where he will speak to you. Usually you just got to get into that area, but
Now you're going to need
as
to
soon as you
search the
connect with
area.
it. And luckily, it was right there in the very beginning where I walked up to. I didn't have to do very much searching for it.
If you're wondering whether you're on the right
But
track,
at the end of the day, I mean, I
here's
had
your answer.
to make some adjustments there, on my game plan wise. We did later go up and get the Black Wolf I think it was on the next quest. It wasn't on this one here. But I don't know. I keep calling them quests for their missions, but or operations, I think. But at the end of the day, it's a quest. Put it that way. We get down here. We'll before we get it, we had some things we had to do. You have to locate the den first, and then they want you to make the animal bait. And in order to do that, you need to have the cooking station. So while I did that, I went ahead and built up the outpost, put it there, and leave it there for the time being. And that way, that's going to be a permanent structure. I did forget to bring the beacon for it to help me locate it, so I have to go back and put a beacon on it. But I don't do one for the main base because I got the animal deterrent there, and it will show it on the map no matter what. But I could do the same thing here, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the outpost. You know, you want to be able to get there and clear it out and do what you got to do, cook or whatever. But I didn't want to put anything with power here because it would be such a long line to connect to the power grid that we already have. Although I might do that later, and just so I can put the bigger workbenches there. You know, I have to have water, of course, you know, but I'll probably do that off camera, or not off camera, but not while I'm recording, just to get that knocked out, so I can put that there, so I can repair my guns and stuff. I found out in that expedition I had put down the wrong bench. So, with that being said, and I started thinking about it on agriculture. I probably should have kept the set or the solar panel at least, and I could have put a solar panel there, and that would have supplied the power that was needed for during daytime hours anyway, or put a battery there just in case. But if I do connect it to the power grid, then I'm probably going to have to remember that I need to turn everything off so that way it's not draining power from the power grid. Because I do plan on putting down a lot more deep ore drills and stuff like that for other resources. I need to find me another platinum and then connect that up so that way I can continue getting platinum. I did get a silica hooked up. I'm thinking about 2 sulfurs and stuff like that. But it's so easy to make gunpowder with salt and charcoal and stuff because you're always going to be burning wood. I mean, wood is so easy to get. You can just put a couple of fireplaces down, just let them burn all the time. And here you're going to see I'm going to start building the base here. I didn't build anything fancy. You know, they do got a bed, they got a water trough, they got a food trough, got a rancher's bench there if I need to make hay for them to eat or whatever they call that, silage or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's nothing fancy. You know, I didn't want to go fancy with it because there was no C4 to be fancy. It's not like I'm going to be living there, you know what I mean? It's just something that came to be, I guess, you know. Here I realize I got them too close. I need to get them back away from all that. But like I said, I did put a place for them. It's on top of the building, so that way they're up off the ground and stuff. And they still get out and move around. It's just it's more coordinated than what it was than originally I wanted. I wanted more scattered out, but at least they got access to their food and water if they need it, and a bed for them to take turns sleeping on. I might have to put down a few more beds just so they can all rest if they need to be. Yeah, like I said, nothing fancy. A few workbenches that are needed. Yeah, and here I only brought one ramp with me. I should have thought it through before I made this side the door because it was up too high, and which made it difficult to jump in and out of. But yeah, I probably should have done it a little different, which I know. I'm pretty sure everybody's probably going to be thinking that too when they see it, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It to me it's good for what we use it for. You know, it's not like we're trying to make something spectacular or anything. It's just a place to stop by when you're doing missions. Here I'm going to set all my benches down now, and then we'll move outside and go up top and set their stuff up. And of course, you know, we need to get the animal bait stuff made. But the next quest, we get to unlock the Black Wolf armor. So, but this here, if you want to capture the animal bait, you can also make a poison one. I ain't exactly sure how well the poison works, but I do know that on the snare traps and stuff, if you put animal bait down, it attracts woods and stuff like that way faster than just regular old meat out there. Most of the time you'll have to run and lure them into the snare, but it works if you do it right. They'll go right up to it and get snared into it, and not only that, they'll have something to eat while they're there, while they become tamed. But like I said, it's just a whole lot more simpler to do it that way. But yeah, I mean it's I'm not totally happy with it, but then again, at the same time, it's a shelter for him to get in and out of when need to. But we'll let him get that stuff set up, and then, and like I said, the mission wasn't really all that long. I spent more time putting this together than I did doing the actual mission, I think. And there, something fell out there, and I had to come back and pick it back up later. Which was the, yeah, mixing table. That way, if I need to make ramps or something like that, or have to build a shelter or something, I got stuff here I can use if I didn't bring enough stuff with me. And I also put a bed down and stuff for that way he can rest and carry on. Machine bench. Now the machine bench is good, but it won't fix your shotguns or your rifles. So you have to have the manufacturing table or the fabrication table. Here I'm trying to get all of them out of the damn way, or leave them in and out so they won't be in the way. Let me put it that way to you. Grab some wood. I see that part. I don't know why that didn't go in my inventory. That was kind of weird. But pick them up by hand, it went in there. Here's where I found out I put it on the wrong side. I can't jump up in there. So temporary I didn't put the ramp in. I wound up putting it over here on the side so they can go up. But, yeah, I was sitting there trying to figure out where exactly to put the door. Then I decided to just do it that way. And this is where I'm grateful that you don't have to necessarily have 100% support on each section of the floor. As long as it's attached to a wall, you have stability. Uh, this way here, you know, it gave more room for them to move around on upstairs. But at the same time, I walled it off and put a roof over it and left one side fully, you know, one doorway open to it. Really, at the end of the day, I mean, I guess it wouldn't really have mattered as long as it was on the roof. You didn't have to necessarily have a roof, and if I did, I probably wouldn't have the issue with having to make sure I put water in there for them. But I still had that water jug, so I keep it full just for that. So that would be just better off, you know. Yeah, I can't believe that landed that away. When I realized I had it in the wrong spot. Although it did cause a little issue getting them up to go in there. They had were trying to go underneath the ramp and stuff. I guess if I could put some kind of thing to block it, I guess, to keep them from going in there, I guess some angled roof pieces or something. But they'll just go to that corner and sit there in that one corner. But either way, you have to go out and you have to try to get them to come inside the other way. So I constantly getting them to follow you differently, so that way you can get them in there. what was even strange is you put food and water down in there, you thought they would find a way in there or teleport in or something. You'll see that here, what I'm talking about here in just a second when y'all come out. Get them all to come outside, then when you try to go up top, you'll see how they scattered. See, it looked like they were going to come up, but some of them went underneath there, you can see. These I got a few of them in there anyway, about half the crew going in there, or just under a half. And it had a total of 8 wolves and hyenas, and then plus the moa. The moa was transportation. You can see how they're underneath that. I should find a way to get them, stick a path so they can get back out, and I had to get them to follow me so I can get them up from underneath there. Yeah, and they finally come up. Yeah, here's where I was looking for the water trough and stuff. But get that stuff down so they can eat and drink. And you can see it in his heavy slot there. He's got the water jug. I don't know why it seems like it's so hard for me to actually see it. It's right there. I don't know why. I found it and put it back in him instead of opening it up and pull that stuff out. Good thing is I had some food on me too as well. But yeah, it worked out all right though. I mean, I did have a few times there where they didn't want to move. It seemed like they didn't want to wander around for some reason. I don't know why it's so picky about placing that. That can be placed anywhere. Or at least with that, all you have to do is press G and it puts it in your hands. It gives you an option of actually filling it. And it lasted quite a while, you know. But like I said, if I would have left the roof off when it rained, it'd automatically fill that up anyway. And it seems like every time you do a mission, you're constantly having storms take place. But I know this is like 28 minutes. But like I said, most of it was just preparing the base and getting the base put together. But like I said, I wish I would have brought the beacon with me. It'd be a heck of a lot easier to re-find it, as I learned in the second mission. But there's a deal with the second mission, but we'll talk about that on when it happens. But I thought the base despawned, you know. But after it was all said and done, it was still there. But I think each outpost would need probably one solar panel. I mean, you're not. I ain't gonna say that you'll need it, but I'm just saying you'll need power there, like to repair your guns and stuff, or if you need to make something off that level of deal. I don't know how advanced the quests coming up are, but it's better to be prepared than not. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I probably connected power grid to it, but that's a long way to run a power line. but you know, 1 or 2 solar panels per outpost. I mean, that'd be easy to make, especially with the way we do our deep ore mining or deep vein ore mining, ore veins or something like that. Yeah, I think y'all understand what I'm talking about. We get plenty of resources and stuff. We just got to spend time making stuff, which I'm planning on doing. I wouldn't mind having like a probably a whole chest of one particular part and of each part, you know. But that would require a lot of space because that would take a lot of resources to do. But we'll get there in time anyway. Some of that stuff is easy to make, but also that easier stuff to make gets used up faster than all the harder stuff does. So it'll be kind of tough to do, but I think I can swing it. I just got to get things situated to where I can find time to do it between trying to make the videos for this stuff here and doing the missions and stuff, and then having that issue with the other one that made it take longer than it needed to. I mean, it was, you know, I still kind of kicked myself in the butt for that. I should have took something stronger up there instead of trying to use that thatch. But I think by the time I got finished doing that mission, that was the end of it. Right there, I just wore out from playing after that. I had to take a break to the following day. So, but like I said, we get this all set up and we'll get the mission completed and get done. I'm leaving all this stuff up here in case I need it later to be used for repairs or some quick outings I have to make. I'll have some of it. I won't have everything that would probably be needed, but I'll have quite a bit of it. And here I'm just trying to figure out what to mix up. I needed some raw meat, so I had to go out and kill something. Here I'm just trying to get some of that weight and get me some little bit of room going. And of course we didn't have to go far. But bow. I'm surprised I didn't take damage there, but now we had the ability to make that raw meat. We could make that animal bait. Of course, you know, I couldn't help myself go in and grab the exotics, which I don't know if there's an issue or something, because I remember getting the exotics out of this already. So there's been quite a few caves I've been in and got them, and all of a sudden now exotics are showing up. So I don't know if they have an issue and they need to fix it or something, or what. And I don't understand why I got that ammo back, but I did though. But you know, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying it ain't supposed to spawn back in. We should pick it up. I think I came back to several of those the other way. At that point, I started thinking, stop mining and get back to the quest. You know, I get so sidetracked so easily. You know, but yeah, we get over here and we'll make our animal bait and use it. Now you have to use the animal bait. I mean, it's just is what they require anyway. Yeah, I was shocked. You know, that those stuff was back in there again, which made me start wondering about all the deals, all the mines I've been in and have located. I think I'll go back and check them all. 'Cause I can, like I said, I can use the exotics, but if I'm going to farm the exotics on the enzyme mounds, then I don't see the purpose for it. You can see here I've got two just in case. Knowing my old self, I was probably screw something up doing something. But yeah, I thought about taking them with me. I thought, I just do it by myself. Which here in a second you'll see that prime shooting ability I have going on. Gotta go up here and put that bait down in front of his den. And that's it. All you have to do now is just sit back and wait. And there he is. And that ends the quest right there. Alright.
Okay,
I
that's
appreciate
it.
y'all watching.
You're getting
Remember
pretty
to like,
late for
subscribe, and share, and leave a comment. And tell me what you
Very
want to
good.
see.
I'd
Alright.
say we're finished.
Y'all have a good one and peace.
And you're still breathing. That's a win. If you're aiming to impress Sinatai, I'd say you succeeded. They don't notice this.